Hi everyone, in this video we'll go through 10 different Vim commands that you might not know. So this is a really good video if you're a beginner and you know like how to navigate in Vim and how to like delete lines, how to undo and redo stuff. So this is a really good video if you're just starting out, and probably even if you're intermediate, you might like find one of the few commands that you probably don't know. So first one is incrementing numbers. So I have a function here, so which computes the factorial, and let's say I want to compute factorial of 2, and I also want to compute the factorial of 3. So to increment a number, you can increment a number using Control A. So if you can see my keystrokes here at the bottom, so I do Control A, it goes to 3, and I can hold on to it and it will keep on going up. So that's really cool. And now to decrement a number, you can do that by pressing Control X. So if you do Control X, it decrements the number. So it's really cool and handy trick that you would want to have in your arsenal. Next up is repeating commands. So you can repeat a previously done command using a period. So period as in dot. So let's do something. So let's change the name of this function to from compute factorial to factorial. So let me just cut till the end of the bracket and then change it to factorial. And I want to make the same change here, so I can go to the beginning of the line and press dot, so it changes that to factorial. I can do the same here, factorial. So that's really handy trick as well. You can do this literally with anything. So yeah, you can literally like increment number and press dot to keep incrementing it. And so the next one we're going to look at is changing case. So let's say we have some comment here. So to show an example, so append to readme. So this is a comment that I want to do, and I want to change the case of readme to capital. So I can do that by tilde. I can keep pressing tilde, or what I can do is I can visually select this word VIW and press tilde, and I can run the command again using period, and it does the same thing. So that's really cool and handy trick as well. And next up is visual search and replace. So you might be familiar with search and replace. So search and replace is usually by you go to command mode. As you can see, you have your command mode happening here. Then you press %s and find the thing you want to replace. Let's say we want to replace factorial by, again, compute factorial, and we want to do that globally, as in for the whole file. So it does that job. So that's really cool. But what if you only want to replace this particular call, which won't lead to the correct results, but I'm trying to show you if you want to replace something only in the visual block. So you can do that by first visually selecting those lines. So shift V to visually select one line, and if you press J, it selects multiple lines, and then you press shift : to go to this command mode where it shows you have visually selected these lines and what operation you want to perform. So you can press S for substitute and start typing. You want to change compute factorial to factorial and press enter. So it does that change only on those visually selected lines. So now you can also do that here. You can visually select this again and press Q : to see what commands that you run previously. So I can select the one above and probably run the same here. Yeah, so it runs that command again. So this is a really cool command that I recently learned a few weeks ago. And next up is replace. So let's say I have misspelled something. Instead of R, I wrote T. So I can change this really quickly by pressing R for replace, which brings the cursor into a underscore like situation, and then you can type R. That's really cool. And similarly with capital R, you can also replace, but multiple instances of letters. So for example, if I want to replace F by funk, So I can press Control R and you can do func, or I can do same thing, Control R, Shift R, sorry, Shift R, and my return or whatever. So obviously this is wrong, but I want to show what the command does. Let me undo that. Yeah. Now next up I want to show you is let me go to the file that I want to be in. So let me find paths. Yeah, so now in this particular file I have a readme path defined as a particular path in my system, and I read that path and I print that data. So this is irrelevant, like the code itself is irrelevant, but what I want to show you is you can go to the file itself just from the path by pressing GF. So go to file. So if I press GF, it will take me to that file, and if you want to come back now to where you were, you can press Control O to come back. So that's really cool. GF to go to the file, Control O to get back. So the next command now is correcting spelling. So here, let's say I have this comment and I misspelled amazing somewhere here. So I missed the I want to correct it. So you can correct this by pressing Z equals. So it will open up a list of replacements that are available, and now I can select from the index. So if I select 1, it selects the first one and replaces it. So usually it's the first one that is the correct one. So what I do is I prepend 1. So I do 1 Z equals. So it automatically selects the first one. Yeah, so that's really neat. And now next command I want to show is, let me go to this file for that. So finding closing parentheses of a function or nested function. So let's say I want to find where this parenthesis is closed. So you can do that by pressing Shift 5 or %sign. And similarly here, so here it's very easy to see like where you have closed it, but sometimes you don't see it. Next one is a really cool function, which is markers. For that I would need to open a document, open some maybe a bigger file. So let me just find a bigger file. This is the file. So let's say I want to change something here. So I want to come back to this line later on, and I delete this line and I redo this comment, and I want to go and add some import at the top. So but I want to come back to this particular 81 line later on. So for that I first add a marker to this line by pressing M, and you assign that marker to any letter. So let's say you assign that to letter P. And now I can go to the top of the file by pressing GG, and let's say I add an import, let's say import inspect. And now I'm going here and I want to change something here. Changed, maybe not. And then I want to come back to that line 81. So you can, there's multiple ways to come back to line 81. The thing is, you don't have to remember which line it was or where it was. You can easily come back to that same particular line or that particular exact point by pressing tick mark and the letter you had assigned the marker to, so P. That's really cool. You can do that anywhere. So let's say I want to assign a marker here, M, and marker for M, and then letter to M. So now the marker M is defined here, and I want to go to the bottom of the file and do some coding stuff here, and I want to come back to M, so I press tilde M, so it takes me back there. So it's a really cool trick. And last is resizing windows. So let's say I have two windows open. So in a vertical split, I can open a vertical split by doing vertical split in the command window, and then doing the file name if I already know the file name. And then let's say this usually happens when I'm switching from a bigger screen to a smaller screen, and my splits are messed up in how they are distributed in terms of width So I usually so the trick to make them even is pressing Ctrl W and equal. This is a really cool, neat trick to make it symmetrical without manually like changing the width by a hotkey that you have. So yeah, this is really neat. So yeah, these were the tricks that I recently, in my recent film experience, that I've learned, and I hope you found some of them useful, and feel free to try them and let me know what you think, and feel free to share your tricks in the comments below. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next video.